Christine, how much does it hurt the WNBA when Caitlin Clark is out?
It is devastating to the WNBA when Caitlin Clark is out.
I know a lot of us were expecting some sort of dip since Caitlin Clark has been out with injury, but I don't think all of us were expecting the entire viewership of the entire WNBA to be down. And this tweet from Christine Brennan really stuck out to me. She said one player gets injured and more than half the TV audience for the entire league disappears. Has any other athlete ever had that kind of impact on a sport? Golf without Tiger definitely dropped precipitously on occasion.
The WNBA is facing a serious financial challenge, and without Caitlin Clark on the court, the league appears unable to stop the decline of everything it has worked to build. Once again, this situation highlights how little the league has learned about protecting the one player who helped lift it from relative obscurity into the national spotlight. This is the story of a league that continues to hurt itself while its biggest star is sidelined, and how refusing to face reality is costing millions of dollars every single day.
And the truth is the truth, and the data is there. And what we saw when Caitlin was out the last time, the 5 games that she missed earlier in the season, the WNBA's viewership dropped more than 50%. Not just the Fever, but the entire league.
In an era driven by non-stop social media drama and constant online debate, reliable facts can seem just as rare as sold-out WNBA games without Caitlin Clark. When Clark was sidelined on June 24th with a quad injury, the league's heavy dependence on one player became impossible to ignore. Now history appears to be repeating itself, as she is once again out for an unknown period because of a groin injury.
Quad injury jumped to her groin likely because of compensation. But the thing that you have to be careful of is if, say, you try to rush her back from this injury as well, then you're getting into this territory where a very serious injury can happen. That is what the Indiana Fever, that is what Caitlin need to avoid the best that they possibly can. So if it means that Caitlin is out for 3 weeks, if it means that she is out all the way through All-Star, then so be it.
Nationally televised WNBA viewership fell by an astonishing 55%, dropping from an average of 1.81818,181 million viewers with Clark to only 847,000 without her. Indiana Fever games also experienced a 53% decline in viewership. But this is where the story becomes even more unbelievable. And by unbelievable, we mean a situation that feels almost impossible to ignore for a league that continues refusing to acknowledge its own mistakes.
Clark went down. The WNBA ratings have dropped over 55% across the board.
Hey, guess what, guys?
The league is Caitlin Clark.
The league is Caitlin Clark. She is the WNBA, guys.
Sidelined with a left quad strain May 24th, national TV viewership has plunged since then 55%. Before the injury, the Fever, her team, were averaging 1.81 million viewers, almost 2 million. Since her injury, fewer than 850,000.
While Caitlin Clark was doing what she does best, selling out arenas, breaking television ratings records, and generating record-setting revenue, the WNBA seemed to be doing what it does best, failing to protect its most valuable asset. The league appears more interested in calling everything a basketball play while allowing opponents to target the player responsible for 26.5% of the WNBA's total economic activity without meaningful consequences. Even more frustrating is that this exact situation has happened before. Yet the league still seems unable to learn from its past. After losing its biggest star to injury before, the WNBA also watched revenue and viewership decline. It's like watching someone touch a hot stove, get burned, then immediately reach for it again while insisting they had no idea it was dangerous.
News is alarming for the league, and it's alarming for the league because this is such a crucial year for the WNBA. At the end of this season, the WNBA will go into CBA negotiations. If negotiations go well, then every single player in the WNBA has a much better chance of making so much more in their next contract. And that's one thing when you start thinking about how many people stopped watching when Caitlin Clark got injured. A lot of people stopped watching because they are boycotting the WNBA. They don't want to give viewership to any other teams or any other players, whether they like other players on the team or not, because of how the media and the league itself has handled Caitlin Clark and how they have treated her fans.
The financial damage arrived quickly and without mercy. Fever ticket prices dropped by 71%, with some seats falling from $860 to just $250. Even more telling was the collapse in average ticket prices for Clark's missed games, plunging from $1,370 to only $80. Those numbers reveal exactly who drives interest throughout the league. Several road games that had been moved to larger arenas to meet the demand for Clark were suddenly struggling to fill seats that likely would have been packed if she had been playing. Tickets for the Los Angeles Sparks Fever rematch, one of the season's biggest matchups, dropped from $210 to $95. The previous meeting attracted 2.25 million viewers, making it one of the most watched WNBA games ever. Without Clark, however, it became just another game that failed to capture the attention of casual fans.
What's really concerning about this is the fact that we are only a month into the regular season and Caitlin Clark has already been out with 2 injuries. With the first one being her having to miss some time with a left quad strain. Now, of course, this is concerning because if you're already on your second injury, you don't want to be that player that is always hurt. Cough, cough, Embiid, cough, cough, Anthony Davis. So I really do hope that the Fever really sits her out right now for a while, only because you don't want her to have more long-term injuries and be more prone.
Veteran sports journalist Christine Brennan has become one of the strongest critics of the WNBA's treatment of its biggest star. Her upcoming book, On Her Game, Caitlin Clark and the Revolution in Women's Sports, promises to examine many of the league's shortcomings. After Clark was targeted by opponents once again, Brennan stated, "The WNBA continues to fail to meet the moment. When more people watch than ever before, this is what they see." Her criticism is straightforward and difficult to dismiss. League statistics show that Clark alone attracts more than half of the league's television audience. Yet the league continues allowing her to absorb hard fouls and unnecessary cheap shots that appear designed only to intimidate its biggest attraction. It's like watching a restaurant owner let customers harass the chef, who is the only reason people keep coming back.
Man, bruh. Congratulations to the WNBA. Your ratings are going to drop by 55 to 60% once again. I believe the WNBA have successfully broken Caitlin Clark.
This has become an increasingly familiar and frustrating pattern. Clark is regularly fouled by opponents who often seem more interested in sending a message than simply playing basketball. The Phoenix Mercury accounted for 80% of the league's 30 flagrant fouls against Clark, with 5 occurring during 2026. If she responds to the physical play, she's criticized for being too confrontational. If she stays quiet, she's accused of being overly sensitive. It's a situation where she simply cannot win, and the league has shown little interest in fixing it. Meanwhile, not only the Fever, but the entire WNBA continues suffering financially. The league was already expected to lose $50 million this year. Even after Clark fueled an enormous surge in popularity, those losses continue increasing whenever she isn't on the floor, as attendance falls back to pre-Clark levels, television ratings decline, and merchandise sales begin to slow.
As big a deal as Tiger was in men's golf, Keith, he did, and when he was gone, it affected the ratings, but nothing like that. And, Michael Jordan being out, maybe a 5 percentage points or something. Nothing like this. You can make a strong case, and I will make that case, and have that there is no one single athlete more important to his or her sport or tour or whatever the circuit is that they play on than Caitlin Clark is to the WNBA.
The most disappointing part of this entire situation is that it could have been avoided. When Clark first entered the league, she was a humble rookie who consistently praised her teammates instead of drawing attention to herself. She handled criticism with impressive maturity for a 22-year-old. The WNBA had every opportunity to embrace her, protect her, and use her popularity to help grow the sport. Instead, Jealousy and unnecessary politics were allowed to overshadow what should have been a celebration of women's basketball. Clark's injuries affect much more than ticket sales and television ratings. Corporate sponsors invested millions of dollars, but many are now questioning those investments because of the uncertainty surrounding the Clark-driven boom. The situation exposes a larger issue with the way the WNBA presents itself. The league seems caught between wanting to be respected as a serious professional basketball organization while also embracing manufactured drama that creates social media attention. It cannot successfully do both. Professional leagues protect their stars while keeping competition fair. High school drama clubs chase attention through controversy.
I don't even know where to begin, man. I hope Caitlin Clark is okay. I want to know when this injury even happened, bro, because let's be serious here. She has the quad injury. Mind you, Caitlin Clark hadn't missed a game since she was like 19 years old, since she was like 18 in college or something. Now she has a groin injury. We've never seen Caitlin Clark play as bad as she played the last 3 games. Let's just be serious here. She's like 1 for 20-something on threes in the last 3. We've never seen her shoot the ball this way. I'll say that. Has she been hurt and playing through this?
Women's basketball deserves better. As mentioned before, the contrast with other professional sports leagues is both obvious and embarrassing. Imagine if the NBA claimed it cared only about competition while allowing players to repeatedly target LeBron James with dirty plays over several months. The league would step in immediately, and suspensions would likely come before anyone could even say flagrant foul. Yet the WNBA appears comfortable allowing this damaging pattern to continue. It almost seems as though league officials believe any kind of publicity is good publicity. At the same time, many fans are choosing not to watch games because they no longer believe the competition is being officiated fairly. When your own supporters say they won't watch without your biggest star because they don't trust how games are being called, you have a credibility problem that extends far beyond television ratings or revenue.
I admire about Caitlin, she's a warrior. She's tough. You hear me? Bruh, you just don't see players, you don't see female basketball players like her. I'm sorry. I done seen a lot of female basketball players, like I said.
The WNBA has been given several chances to change course, but each opportunity has been missed, making the situation even worse. Every incident involving Clark should have encouraged the league to establish stronger standards for player safety and fair competition. Instead, every controversy has been answered with the same tired explanation about basketball plays and letting the players play. Ironically, Clark's injury has become the clearest evidence of just how valuable she is to the league, exactly the outcome officials should have been trying to prevent. A 55% decline in viewership is impossible to dismiss. Even so, there is little indication that the WNBA has learned anything from it. League officials continue talking about competitive balance and physical basketball as though hard fouls and dirty plays are necessary parts of the game, while treating routine basketball contact involving Clark as major talking points. Meanwhile, genuinely dangerous plays against her continue to be overlooked.
Clean up. I believe the physicality and all this hacking and fouling that goes on. She getting blindsided by Marina Mabry. I think all of this stuff is having a wear and tear and an impact. And all you guys are doing are hurting yourselves, because the numbers are going to drop and drop and drop. And trust me, when it's time for that collective bargaining agreement, they are going to point to this and say, well, how can we give you guys all this money? What happens if she gets hurt?
The WNBA now faces some difficult decisions about the type of league it wants to become. Fortunately, the solution itself is not complicated. If the league truly wants to be respected as a professional basketball organization, then it must begin acting like one. Clear standards for player safety need to be created and consistently enforced. Manufactured controversies can no longer be allowed to overshadow the game itself. Most importantly, the league must recognize that its biggest stars, especially the players who genuinely fill arenas and increase television ratings, deserve protection from the targeting and intimidation that only creates social media drama. The continued decline in revenue, attendance, and viewership following Clark's absence serves as a painful reminder of what the WNBA looked like before she arrived, and what it could become again if nothing changes. Without Clark, average league viewership this season has fallen to just 555,000, well below last year's average of 670,000. Those numbers reflect a return to the pre-Clark era of empty arenas and games that attracted only dedicated fans.
Today, because of the way they play the game, because I love the WNBA, I love the way they play the game. But we really watch it because Caitlin Clark and everybody watching. Now listen, if I keep bumping her, knocking her down, might get her a concussion, you might hurt her for real. For 2 weeks, she was done with like a hamstring. She was down. 55% of the viewership was down. She comes back the next game, it's about 3 million viewers. Now let me tell you something. Growing up in the hood, they teach you this. Always protect the money. Y'all keep hurting her and all that. She's going for a year or two. Ain't nobody gonna watch it. If nobody watches, how y'all gonna make and generate money?
The saddest part of this entire situation is that none of it was unavoidable. If the WNBA had properly protected and promoted its biggest star, it could have used Clark's popularity to build lasting success for the future. Instead, it has created a fragile system that begins to collapse the moment its top attraction is removed from the court. Until the league learns how to protect and support the players who genuinely bring attention to women's basketball, it will continue experiencing these boom and bust cycles where one player's presence determines whether the public pays attention. The real question is whether the WNBA will finally learn to protect its most valuable asset or continue repeating the same mistakes until every opportunity created by Caitlin Clark's popularity has been wasted. Based on everything we've seen so far, the league doesn't appear much closer to finding the right answer. Share your opinion in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe and turn on all notifications so you never miss another update. We'll see you in the next video.